Hello everyone and welcome back to the third of our sessions where we are bringing in an expert panel. And before I introduce our next panel, just to tell you about the Slido operation. As you know, it's there on the right hand side of your screen, and please do ask your questions of our next panel where we're talking all about social media. But also you'll notice if you see at the very top it's got Q&A, and right next to it on Slido it's got polls, and we're running a poll at the moment because we want to capture the spirit of the day. So we're looking for your one word that describes the day. Be nice though, please. But no, seriously, we'd like to hear from you what you're feeling about the day and how we're going to capture this unique virtual event that we're having here for the Reach Family Weekend. So, and by the way, don't forget, you can, talking of Twitter and all the various social media channels, you can still use the hashtag, of course, of ReachFW20. Now, I'm trying to be really modern, really up to date with social media. I'm probably not really succeeding, but I know a team who are. So it's a great pleasure to welcome Liv Chapman, Ella Dickinson and India Sasha Atkinson. So hello girls.
Hi. Hi.
Lovely to see you all, and thanks very much for being here. I think the first thing we should probably do is find out a little bit about your preferred platform, what you do, what you talk about on social media. And I was reading, India, to start with you, what is it, 129,000 followers on TikTok? Pretty
yes,
impressive.
It's actually coming up to 131 now. It's amazing. I can't believe how far it's actually came, to be honest.
So tell us about what it is that you write about.
Well, I make lots of video content, and I'm trying to really get it to be, I want it to be more widely seen on social media platforms so that it isn't so shocking when you see it. Because obviously whenever I was younger, I never really seen anybody with an upper limb disability. And I believe by even just having it on there and being just yourself in random content, that you're going to open up more things for the next generation coming. So that's what I'm doing, trying to do it in a comedy form.
Comedy form. You've set yourself
Yes.
up now. We might want to see a sample a bit later on, but I'll come back to you about that. So TikTok is your preferred social media platform, or are you on everything?
I'm on everything. I do love a bit of Instagram, but my preferred is TikTok. I like whenever I can speak and I can show a bit of personality in what I'm doing.
Great. Okay. And moving across to our Sue Stokes Award winner for 2020, Ella. First of all, congratulations again for that. And tell us a little bit about your preferred platform and what you talk about.
So I use Instagram a lot more. I've got other social media for like personal use, but in terms of like talking about my arm, it's normally Instagram. I do talk a lot about Reach because obviously I'm involved in Reach and I'm ambassador, and now I've won the Sue Stokes Award. So I do like promoting Reach and talking about Reach and upper limb differences, and really just connecting with younger children and their parents, just to let them know like they're not alone and what they can grow up and do, and just life in general.
Well, I was going to say, for all of you being sort of role models for the emerging generation of Reach family members, to have you out there on social media is absolutely huge, and we'll talk more about that in a while. But coming across to you, Liv, tell us about what you do, your preferred platform.
Yeah, so my preferred platform is Instagram, and I started that actually to promote my photography skills. When I was at school, I really enjoyed photography, and then I went on to do a bit of modelling and sort of promote body positivity and confidence. And through that, I've then gone on and trying to adapt that into my limb difference and advocacy, and yeah, just showing like my daily life.
And you're a personal trainer as well, aren't you?
As of yesterday, yeah.
Oh, just yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, well done.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so that's going to be another thing to work on and promote. So I'm looking forward to that.
Now, my first question, actually, let's come to you, actually, Ella. As a winner of the Sue Stokes Award, a lot of parents will be watching this, and some of them will be thinking, social media frightens me to death, mainly because I don't understand it. Yet, people of your generation, it's second nature, it's part and parcel of what you do. What do you say to people who don't get social media and people who are, frankly, frightened of it?
I mean, I'm not going to deny that there can be some horrible people on social media, but honestly, I've found for me that I've found so many connections, like with India and Liv and so many more people through Instagram. You just get to talk to people, share experiences, realize that everybody has these like daily problems. Like I was trying to make a bed, put my bedding in like a big double bed. I couldn't do that, but by connecting with people, I can ask them, especially people that are older than me, that can do that and helping me with tips. And it's just a community where you can talk to people and get advice and just make friends and connections. Really, it's lovely.
And there's no question there is a massive positive side to social media, and it is the method of communication for a whole generation. India, there are, as Ella alluded to there are obviously negative comments. There are sometimes situations where we hear about young people being maybe bullied online or something like that. What's your sort of coping mechanism? How do you do it? With all of those followers, you must get some negative comments occasionally. How do you deal with that?
Well, the first way I deal with it sort of isn't by making myself feel like I'm the only person getting those comments and that I'm somehow being targeted specifically because of my hand. A lot of influencers, a lot of people on social media, they're prone to get people commenting, and you could be your body could be completely normal and someone will still find some other reason to come and make a comment. So I just remind myself that. So that's something that I think everybody needs to remember. Like, there's always going to be bad people out there, no matter how much you put yourself out there. So yeah, it's always going to be there, but the positives outweigh the negatives, and I love making bad comments into comedy and different materials to make more people laugh. So if anybody says anything about me, I'll just turn it into a new video, and then I have other people laughing with me rather than at me.
And it's great that you have that ability to do it. But Liv, there will be some young people who can find it a bit overwhelming. They don't have that sort of personal strength maybe to be able to deal with some of the comments and some of the cyberbullying. It's not like the old days where you'd go home and you'd be, amongst your family in a haven, if you like. Now you can be reached everywhere. What would you say to parents who might be concerned that actually the negative is overwhelming the positive for their child on social media?
I think that regardless of if you're disabled or you have any sort of difference, that's going to happen regardless of that. The thing I would say to parents is to let them explore, sort of let them trial and error different things. If they realise that things are being more negatively portrayed, then they can just come off of that. I had one girl message me. She was 15, and she said that she'd only recently sort of come out and started to embrace her differences because of what I do and what I try and put across to everyone on Instagram, and that really meant a lot to me. So I guess that there is positive impact from it. It's not all negative, but for parents, I think it's hard to see that of their child. I know when I started my Instagram, my parents were very protective of me, and they didn't like it if I was seen to get quite bad sort of rapport from what I was doing, but they knew that it was for a good cause, and I think that's really the message behind it all.
We heard from our mental health experts in our last panel session about communication and talking to people. And, Ella, for you, your conversations with your parents, have you spent a lot of time educating them about social media and helping them understand the benefits as well as the negatives? Because we see all the negatives, we hear about it on the news, but of course the news, the media does have this habit of, over-exaggerating the negative and never seeing the positive, because of course that's not good news. So tell me about your relationship with your parents about social media.
Well, I've got to be careful because they are watching this. My parents, I only went onto social media when I was about 15, and that was their rules, and I completely looking back now, I completely understand that they wanted to protect me and not put me out there, and not just like as a person with a disability, just as someone in general being young. But now I do have the bad comments, but I just kind of work through them and I tell them about it. And just as long as I'm open and I communicate with them and I explain, like, this has happened, but actually it doesn't bother me. I look at all the other happy comments I get from parents and Reach followers, and it just makes me smile. As long as you're open and talk to your parents and communicate, there's nothing really. Obviously, if you're over the age and can get Instagram and stuff, I think it's a great platform to connect with people.
And that's the thing, isn't it, India? Because, for the younger generation emerging, it's massively important for them as a means of communication. How much do you think social media has actually influenced younger Reach members? And how much should we maybe be using social media more to, excuse the pun, but to reach potential new members and people who have got differences?
Well, obviously social media is such a huge platform and there really isn't any sort of limits on who you can reach and how you can reach them. But just even through TikTok, I've found so many people who have uploaded videos of something that they're unable to do, and they've been in a state of crying or something, or they've just been making a joke about themselves not being able to do it. And through the platform that I use on TikTok, I would just duet, and if I know the answer, if I know she's got a similar hand to me and she's struggling, I know the solution to this, I would just go on and upload a video. So I think it's in the terms of that, if there's some sort of way that we can enhance that and have it as a way that we can all share our own experiences and any tips or anything, then it's something that could maybe further us and stop that hindrance of not being able to do stuff and get us doing things quicker.
Yeah, and that is really important, isn't it? Because if you are able to reach just one more person, it's going to have, a positive impact on their lives, and they're going to connect with you far better than people who are much older than them. You're the sort of generation ahead of them, and that will have a hugely positive impact. And one of the questions we've got come in is the fact about when you first saw someone with a limb difference on TV, your reaction to it, and maybe I'd follow that up with, is it possible that the first exposure people have to limb difference is actually on social media? Liv, perhaps you'd like to take that.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, what you post is up to you. That's your choice. You just have to remember that it will be on the internet for forever. But I think, it is a positive thing to be able to sort of show that side. And I know a lot of TV I watch with SAS and obviously Lauren Steadman, and she was amazing, and you can really sort of resonate with people who go through the same sort of things as you do on the daily, and to be able to see that and to express that and to fully take that in is a really good thing.
Now, we've got a question coming in, which is actually quite an interesting one. So I'm going to put this interesting. I'm going to talk to you, Ella, because you obviously, as a Reach ambassador, the winner of the Sue Stokes Award and so on, you now are in a position of influence, not just on social media, but with the trustees and with head office there. What would you like to see change in the strategy of social media for Reach? The actual question says, are Reach missing a trick here by maybe not doing something that you would recommend? Or maybe I should say, what are you going to recommend?
Wow, you've really you got me there. No, I think obviously Reach are doing Instagram, which is amazing, and I think it's really just other members, like they said before, posting photos, and Reach know that they can share whatever I post on my feed, and it's about other people getting in touch as well, and saying, oh, look at what my child's done, or look what I've done, and giving the permission to repost it. And it's really just then I share Reach's posts to my story, and it's just getting the impact and it growing just across social media. That's just how it works. I think Reach are doing really well, and they've got the hashtags, and they've got a pattern of how they post and when they post. I think you've got it, yeah.
Good answer, Ella. Well done. Your role as an ambassador has been fully fulfilled there. But seriously, good answer, and I know that they will value your opinion, as they will everybody who are influencers like yourself. And actually, questions come in here, India, about the, obviously, seeing the Paralympics was absolutely fantastic. The fact that it had that equal footing in so many respects to, the regular, or what would be called the regular Olympics. And of course, social media was very much a part of that. How much do you think the posts on social media would have made a difference to the way that the Paralympics were perceived by everybody?
I think whenever you're talking about how things are perceived, you have to remember who's watching. And with social media, who's watching is usually the younger generation. So from the ages of 13 up to maybe 25, that's kind of the key active areas on social media. And often the ones that are below 18 are the ones that need to see it most. So the Paralympics being so broadcast on social media will be reaching people who maybe literally need that boost. Just to remember, there's people that are doing amazing things out there. There's nothing that can stop you, and just to push them towards their own goals.
And for you watching TV today, clearly we heard from Alex Brooker earlier on about the tremendous changes that have happened in his lifetime. The fact that he saw no one with a limb difference when he was growing up. The fact that people like Alex and others are on mainstream TV. How does that make you all feel in terms of your ability to post and to interact with social media? Liv, what do you think to all of that? And, how do you think that's going to progress?
I think that it makes you feel more accepted. It makes me feel less like people are going to judge me, or that I don't know, not that it makes you feel like not everyone's going to think of you just the girl with one hand, or just the disabled girl, or you know what I mean. So I think with Alex going through that growing up, I think it's important that we show how normal we are, and I think in the future that's going to really benefit a lot of people, and a lot more newborns who are being born with limb differences. We can all sort of share our experiences.
I have to say, one of the things I do some work in schools, and I'm particularly impressed by young people's ability to accept difference, whatever that difference be, not just limb differences. And to me, it makes me feel really, really positive about the future. And of course, all three of you are portraying that incredibly positive imagery of limb difference, which is amazing. But the fact is, you can now make a career out of being social influencers. And I'm not sure who wants to take this up, but, tell us about the potential of career, the fact of how does it become monetized? How can you actually make money from it? India, you're smiling the most with this, so I'm going to come to you on that. So how does it work, and how do you make a career out of it?
No, I was just laughing because I was literally on the phone with TikTok themselves yesterday, who are actually taking me on as a creator on their creator program, and they're going to help me to monetize with the hashtag Learn on TikTok, so that I start teaching people on a more wider scale about limb difference, which is something that's been very recent and I'm very excited about. But obviously TikTok as well, it's monetized as a platform, and I'm doing more things with brands as well. I work with brands who have a very uniform appearance and everything's kind of very the same, and they don't have a really wide representation of body types and people. And I reach out to them, or they reach out to me, and I'd be like, look, do you want to try and work with me here? We need to address, I know loads of models and loads of influencers, like the panel here, who have an upper limb disability, and I'd love to help you in representing us. So that's a way that I've been doing it recently.
Perfect. I mean, wow, what a great thing, and congratulations. That's absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
And you talked there about representation. It's really interesting. A question's just come in about that, saying, we have three young ladies as representatives, as influencers. And the comment that's being made is that actually it seems to be, which some people would say, well, about time too, but it's more dominated by women than it is by men. And for younger men to become more involved as influencers on social media, A, what's your view on it? And B, what would your advice be to a young chap who's watching this at the moment, who's thinking about becoming a social influencer but isn't too sure? Ella, would you like to take that?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say I agree. I was actually talking to one of my friends a few days ago about how there are so few males that have social media with a limb difference that are like as open as we are, and neither of us could actually put an answer on it. So to be honest, I don't know. But I would say that if you are, connect with us, connect with any of us, connect with Reach, and just show yourself who you are, and just don't hide. There is no need to hide anymore. And I get that sometimes it can be like a mental block, like it was for me. But now I've come to that stage that like I am okay in my own body, I am happy in my own body. You can just be a lot more open on social media. So I say go for it and love yourself.
Great answer, love that. Liv, what would you say that social media has done for you? I know reading your biography, you were saying about the amount of confidence it's given you and helped you.
Yeah.
Could you be a little bit more specific about the difference going on it has made?
So it's been within the last year really that I've sort of come out and been so open about who I am and what I am and what I have. And I think that really came from, I just one morning just sort of woke up and realised, actually, I'm just me, and this is something that I want to share with others. And growing up, I would always sort of have my hand in my pocket, or if I was going out, have a bag over it. And I just thought, that's not me. And there was always that thought in the back of my mind where if I ever met someone new, I would have to bring it up and I would have to tell them. And it was just that sort of thought of what they would say. But now it's open for everyone to see, just like anything else would be. And I think that's really important. I think that's where my confidence has grown, where I've just sort of said, this is me, take it or leave it. And I think that's like a lot of people can really resonate with that.
When did your confidence, India, come to the point that you felt happy enough to share on social media? Because you really are, one thing that, irrespective of what anybody says, if you go on social media, you're putting yourself out there. You really are, sort of saying, here I am, I'm happy to be putting this out and everything. When was that point for you?
I think it was more, I like to challenge myself, and I think a lot of people, whenever they're told a lot that they can't do things, they do like to challenge themselves quite often. So one thing that I really struggled and challenged myself to do was to post my hand on social media whenever I was about 16. And it wasn't like there was any big, this is my hand, I haven't showed it to anyone before. I just slowly started not hiding it. And this just grew for me. This helped my confidence grow in itself, and it just kind of kept growing and kept growing and kept growing to the point where it was something that I did openly want to promote, just because I think a lot of my drive comes from not wanting any young child to feel like they couldn't just show things on Facebook or try and be an influencer, like the way they were saying that there's a struggle now with not a lot of male influencers with one arm or one hand or an upper limb disability. And I think a lot of that is because there needs to be someone first. Someone needs to be the change that they want to see. So that's what a lot of what I'm trying to do is.
Now, actually, this is a trick I've missed, and somebody just asked here, and I should have come to this a lot sooner than I have done. I would want you all basically to give us your social media handles, how people can find you, how they can follow you, just in case they don't know. Starting with you, Liv, what's the best way to people to find you? And by the way, we'll put this in the chat box as well, so everyone can see it afterwards. So I'm sure the tech team are listening in, and they'll pop it into the chat box. So go ahead, Liv.
Yes, so my limb difference advocacy page is @liv, so LIV _honey, HONEY _photography. And then I have a personal trainer account, which is just @LivHoneyChapman.
Brilliant, thank you very much. Hopefully they'll soon tell me if they haven't got them, if they need to repeat them. But thank you. And for anybody who's asking, we'll put these in the chat. So Ella?
Mine is just at ella.dickinson, spelled Dickinson. And I put all my content on there, from university to life to reach, everything that I get up to.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you very much. And India?
I'm at India Saisha on TikTok and Instagram, so it's just India Saisha.
A great question just come in, actually, because we forget, we always think it's about TV where people get recognized on the street, but more and more YouTubers, social media influencers are becoming more and more recognizable. We're seeing social media influencers on Strictly and so on that many of us may not be familiar with, but of course, if you're in that environment, you do. Have you ever, any of you, been recognized in the street by anybody who's following you? You're nodding there, India.
I get it so often in Northern Ireland mostly. I think that's because whatever the TikTok algorithm is, a lot of that area sees it. But it amazed me because I have little kids coming up to me and thinking that I'm cool because I have an upper limb disability. And that's just something I couldn't have imagined when I was younger. And then whenever I was in Liverpool a couple of months ago, somebody was recording me eating a Taco Bell. And so it's been crazy. There's been lots of recognition, but I'm loving it.
Well, I was going to say, how do you feel about that? That's great. Liv or Ella, have you been recognised yet?
I've not, no, but I'm friends with a lot of people through Reach anyway, so a lot of people reach out to contact me. So I've gotten COVID as well, so I've not really been out that much.
Okay, and Liv?
Yeah, I've had a lot of contacts throughout, all around the world really, saying, oh, I've seen you on this, or I've seen you've done a Q&A for these people, or this account, how can we get you on board? I've been part of magazines in America, and I've been part of Q&As in Germany. Not necessarily been seen or sort of spotted out in my hometown in Plymouth, but I do get a lot of family friends coming up to me and say, you're doing really well, keep going, we keep seeing all your content and how you're progressing, and it's really, really good, like lots of encouragement, so that's always really nice to hear.
Yeah, that is really, really good. And I'm so pleased for you all that you're actually turning this into a massive success for all of you, and that you are absolutely, big advocates for everything that Reach tries to do to bring the community together. For those who are a little bit concerned about their youngsters going onto social media, what kind of tips would you give those youngsters via their parents, if you like, or direct through this medium, to make sure that they stay safe on social media and that they are doing the best that they can? Let's start off with you, Liv.
So depending on what social media platform they have, there is always a privacy and security sort of setting. So their children can pick and choose who they follow and who follows them. Instagram is a really good one for that. If you go onto the private mode, you can decide who you want to see, what content you want to see like every day, and you can also decide who you accept as a friend. So that's a really good way to sort of stay safe, and really just sort of see what you want to see, not what you don't want to see.
And Ella, we hear about social media addiction, the fact that people are just spending too much time in front of their screens. What do you say to that? Do you agree? And if you do, how would you suggest to keep it at a sensible level?
Yeah, so I can see how that would be a thing, and you can be addicted to your phone or social media. But I tend to have my phone kind of on silent, so I check it when I want to, if that makes sense. So I'm not constantly on it all the time. I mean, I have been on it a lot today, I'm not going to lie, because of the Reach event. But normally I'd put it down and just kind of leave it, and then check my messages and then reply. And it's really just setting boundaries yourself, and like especially at like night and when you wake up, like turning it off and turning it on again. It's within your bounds and what you decide. But I can see how being addicted to social media or your phone can be a genuine problem.
And feel free, girls, feel free to tag me in on any of your social media posts. I might get one more follower. I might double my amount of followers, to 3 or 4. You never know. India, what advice would you give to people just in terms of safety on social media?
Well, I think everybody will kind of know if people develop at different times, and some people are ready for certain things and some people aren't. So I think you'll know if you're going to be able to deal with any comments if they do arise. But to completely avoid them, I mean, you can use private on most social media, like Ella said there about Instagram and TikTok. You can make your TikTok account private, and even if you don't make your TikTok account private, you can turn off comments so that you don't receive them, and you can only get messages from people who you follow back. So that kind of eradicates anybody messaging you without you knowing them and keeping it to just who you know. So there's that as a safety aspect. But always I would kind of say to parents, don't be too over your shoulder, because then it just creates a hiding thing, and your child will hide things from you, and that's the last thing you want. So you want a lot of open honesty, communication, and just keep that going. That's probably the safest way.
That's a really good point about open communication. So, Ella, what kind of conversations should parents and youngsters be having when it comes to social media? What are the kind of topics that they should be discussing which would put parents' fears at ease, but also make the young people at least be open about anything that might be of a concern that they might not be expressing at the moment?
Yeah, so I mean, keeping your accounts private, like everyone said, is a really good idea, and basically just talking about who you follow and what you follow. And like I said, if you get like something that you don't think is okay, it's then like telling your parent, or if you're a parent and you see it, then talking to your child about it, and just really like explaining and having an open, honest conversation. Like, I only follow accounts that I want to see. So like, I follow the girls on here, I'll follow Reach and Alex Brooker and Claire and people that I am friends with, or I would like to see their content. I wouldn't follow somebody that I'm a bit like, I don't really like what they do, which I know everyone does their own thing on social media, but it really is tailoring it to what you or your child, or what you want your child to see on social media.
So it's about being discerning. And interesting enough, thank you very much for the person who sent in this question, asking whether I have it to make it big on TikTok. And your laughter says it all there, so thank you very much. Shall we leave that one there? But actually, to people who think, joking aside, people do think social media is a young person's thing. Would you agree with that, India?
Well, I've actually got my granny on TikTok for her business, because it's become such an easy, you can go viral on it so easy. So if you want to give it a go, whoever left that comment, I would 100% recommend. But my granny's done some content on there, and it's fun to play with, and especially now when everybody's stuck in the house, there's no age restriction on having a bit of good crack on your phone. So
Well, I have to say, from my experience of being in Northern Ireland, you guys absolutely know how to have a great crack with everything.
Yes.
Your humour is everywhere when you go to Northern Ireland. It's a fantastic place. And actually, what I'd like to do is possibly to finish off really here by asking you all your advice for anybody who wants to maybe just develop social media a little bit more, maybe some do's and don'ts. Let's start off from all three of you, your top 3 do's. So I'm going to give you a little bit of time to think about this, and then we're going to go to the don'ts. So the top 3 do's, in your view, that people should do to make a success on social media, and then maybe 3 don't do's to make it successful on social media. Ella, why don't you start? Your 3 do's.
Okay, so I would post content that you're happy with. I wouldn't, like, if you wouldn't normally post that, don't post it. Post pictures you like, pictures what you find happy. I'd follow accounts that you like, so Reach, that's a good one to follow, myself included. No. And then for a third one, I'd just say message and talk to people. I have a lot of people in my direct messages that I've just made friends with through social media, and because they're members of Reach. So it really is just kind of be open and be yourself, but get into contact with people and talk to people that you've seen around or seen in the Reach group chats or tonight, or anyone that you've seen today.
Brilliant. Okay, India?
First of all, I would say be genuine. So, sort of similar to what Al was saying, you kind of have to be yourself. People see straight through whenever you're trying to present yourself in a fake way, and I feel like that's something that really we need to try and tackle on some platforms. Just having your complete honest self as you are, being nice to everyone, like that's just genuine. Being on frequently and often. I know there's a bit of a thing there, a comparison with the question of being addicted to social media. But whenever you post frequently, people like to have an insight into what you're kind of doing today and stuff. And thirdly, let me think. Building connections with people as well, because there's so many people on social media, there's so many connections to be made. If you like a brand, talk to a brand. They might send you something for free, and that might open doors to other brands, and just try and expand yourself that way, and you can end up making a little hobby out of it.
Yeah, no, great idea. And thank you very much to the person who apparently on the chat box has put hashtag Alastair on TikTok. I'm not sure how that's going to actually happen because I don't have an account yet, but maybe that will instigate a bit of action as far as I'm concerned, and I'll do it.
I can help you.
Thank you very much. I will come to you, India, for that bit of help. Liv, what are your 3 do's?
I would say, firstly, don't take yourself too seriously. Try and have a bit of fun with it. I really like being creative, posting photos just with pictures on my hand or something that I've learnt to do. So, like tying my shoelace. So get personal, really. I think people can really sort of empathise or sympathise with you if they can really resonate with that with their life. So sort of get personal and show a bit of vulnerability. I think that really connects with a lot of people. So don't take yourself too seriously. I think the girls have kind of covered it, but get involved and get connecting with people from all over. Sort of don't be afraid to take a risk, take a leap. You can only sort of overcome and adapt to any obstacles, as we all do. And thirdly, I would just say stop when you're finding it becoming not enjoyable anymore. I think everyone starts it because they do enjoy it, and it's easy to fall into the trap of, oh well, my account's not good enough, or my content isn't good enough, or I'll never make it, I'll never get enough followers. I think try and keep positively, and everyone's got to start from somewhere, and it will get better.
Those are great tips, girls. Thank you very much indeed. Really appreciate that. But now we've got the don'ts. I'm going to let you go first, Liv, because you went last time and they took all of the best tips. So I'm going to start with you this time. And your don'ts can't just be the opposite of your do's, okay? So don't think you can do that. So these have to be new things. And actually this is a slightly serious point as well, because we want people to stay safe on social media. So maybe your top tips of staying safe, but in terms of things that you shouldn't do on social media to make sure that you're successful and you get the most out of it. So Liv, why don't you start with that?
I think firstly I would say don't let other people get you down. I know it's really hard to say because a lot of the comments you can get will really hit personally, but try and not to let what people think about you affect you in any way. Secondly,
and if you haven't got 3, don't worry, I'm not going to put too much pressure on you, don't worry.
No.
Why don't we come to the others, and if you come up with something else you can. How's that? Okay, so India, have you got any don'ts?
I think Liv was touching on something really good there about having other people affect what you think about yourself. So that's definitely a don't. Don't compare yourself to other people. Everybody's not meant to be the same. It would be very boring if everybody's Instagram looked the same. Do your own thing, play about with it. Don't get caught up in making yourself feel like you have to portray a certain image, because I think that's something with social media it can be toxic at times. And another thing I would say, but it's probably not to the people I'm talking to, but don't also criticise other people as well. I would say we all need to create a very positive environment for everyone, and if everyone keeps that in mind all the time, we wouldn't have the stress of worrying about posting things. Just no judgment and things, and if you're not having fun with it anymore, just give it up. You don't need it.
I like that. Keep it positive. I think that's a lot to be said for that. Ella?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone pretty much answered it there, but really don't feel like you have to constantly be on Instagram or whatever social media you use. It is okay to just turn your phone off and just not like anybody's photo that day or not scroll through content. It's actually quite nice just having a no phone day sometimes and feeling like you have to constantly like reply to everybody and message people. Like, it is okay to take a break and then post something later on. Like, you don't have to post something every single day.
Very good tip. Well, you've all been absolutely fantastic. I've learned a huge amount, as I'm sure everybody else has as well. And more importantly than anything else, all three of you are a fantastic inspiration to our members, to our family, and to parents as well. So thank you so much indeed for being with us. Good luck with your careers, whether it be as social media influencers, but also all the other things that you're involved in. So thank you very much, Liv, Ella, and India. All the best to you, and we'll see you in person hopefully next year. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks.
very much.
Wonderful. Fantastic. What an inspiration, and hopefully you've been inspired by that as well, and you've got some good tips about social media as well. Now, just to let you know that we have kept that poll open if you would like to make any comments for that word cloud. Again, if you go into the bit over here, the Slido over here, you've got Q&A at the top, and right next to it you've got polls. If you click on that, you'll see the polls, and you will be able to add your words to it. I think we've relaunched it, so just make sure your words are there. Make sure you've got an opportunity to add your words, and at the very end of the day we will then let you see it, and we'll probably post that on social media as well. I think we know how to do that now from what we've just seen. We will be back for our last session. That's coming up at 5 o'clock. That's when we're going to be talking about a topic that's been very popular throughout the whole day today, and that's sport. And to be able to engage young people in sport is such a great thing to be able to do. And we've been inspired by hearing from people like Claire earlier on. So we're going to be having emerging future sports personalities, future Paralympians. They're all going to be coming up for you. That's at 5 o'clock. So we'll see you there.